वर्चुअल कैमरा करो स्टार्ट वर्चुअल कैमरा करो चलो ये भाई वो वेक्स এখানে যাও বিরাট স্লো চেঞ্জ ওকে মারো ঠিক আছে कैमरा नीचे स्टार्ट हो इसका नीचे नीचे जाओ गैलरी में जाओ स्टार्ट हो जाए जा रहा है वो उधर से जा रहा है सर भेज हेलो ठीक है कैमरा बंद है बीच में है ना हाँ थोड़ा स्लो की वजह से इसीलिए वो बार बार वो वीमिक्स वाला जो लैपटॉप जो था ना वो अपना एक ही था वो कोलकाता में ही है वो नहीं लाया सर तुम्हारा मेरा भी तो मेरा मैं वही घूम रहा था 2 बार तो मैंने ये किया इसको क्लोज करके उसके बाद फिर से टर्न ऑफ असिस्टेंट कर दिया मैंने मैं इधर से मैं म्यूट हो जाऊँ इधर से अच्छा ठीक है मैं माइक म्यूट उसको ठीक है ठीक মাইকগুলো মিউট করে দিতে হচ্ছে ওদিকে যাচ্ছে মাইকের আওয়াজ কোনো মাইক চলছে না তো না ওর মাইকটা মিউট করে দাও হ্যাঁ रिकॉर्ड कर दूँ हाँ वीडियो रिकॉर्ड सर रिकॉर्ड कर दे रहा हूँ कर देना रिकॉर्ड हाँ कर दिया स्टार्ट कर रिकॉर्ड सर बोल रहा हूँ वेवेक्स में रिकॉर्डिंग कर दिया हूँ इसमें आपका क्या कहता हूँ ओबीएस में नहीं कर रहा हूँ रिकॉर्डिंग वेवेक्स में ऑन
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin our session, so I request all our delegates to take their seats and put their mobile
OBS में करूँ
on silent mode.
ठीक एक मिनट सर आपके नाम पे 1 मिनट सर ग्रेट कर लीजिए मिनट सर आपका नाम सर हाँ ठीक है ठीक है ठीक ओके बाय खोला जाए व्हाट्सएप खोला जाता तो के लिंकটা পাঠিয়েছি কোনটা এটা হ্যাঁ এটা তো ওটাই তুই খুলে রাখ না भाई मास्क कैसे मास्क डाल लो बिल्कुल डाल लो ये বসে আছে এদিকে हाँ जी सर हाँ सर बोलिए हाँ हाँ पार्टिसिपेंट क्लिक किया हाँ म्यूट अनम्यूट ये सब आ रहा है राइट क्लिक करूँ क्या हाँ मीटिंग रिकॉर्डिंग प्रोग्रेस पार्टिसिपेंट हाँ लिखा हुआ है हाँ क्लिक किया हूँ म्यूटल अनम्यूट मोर ऑप्शन पे जा रहा हूँ अलाउ अटेंडेंस ओके ओके
Safety is one of the most important parts of our oil and gas industry as well as our lives. So for that, I would like to call upon Mr. Kaushik Ganguly for the safety briefing.
हाँ जी दे दे रहा हूँ कैमरा था
Good morning everyone and welcome to the month of Bhubaneswar. My name is Kaushik Ganguly and I am from Security Department.
पार्टिसिपेंट
As you all are aware that everyone is related to entry about it is almost 3 exits. In case of an emergency,
हाँ सबसे ऊपर में पार्टिसिपेंट है उसके बाद सिर्फ सीधे सबका नाम है जो ज्वाइन किए
we will not be conducting any fire drill today. So in case of an emergency, please follow the
जो
instructions
ज्वाइन किया उनका नाम है
associates as they all are trained in handling emergency situations. Thank you and have a good night.
और तो कुछ नहीं आ रहा इधर आ रहा है 100 मेनू बार आ रहा है मीटिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन वेबएक्स आ रहा है
Thank you,
सुपर
sir.
पार्टिसिपेंट
Before we officially start with the program, would like to request all the delegates to kindly adhere to the COVID protocols and wear masks and maintain social distancing.
राजदा हाँ जी सर
Good morning, everyone. I am Odisha Vats from Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, and I welcome you to this temple city, Bhubaneswar. Odisha, the land which is blessed with beautiful architecture, plethora of historical wonders, and rich cultural heritage. Not only it is endowed with serene beaches, serpentine rivers, but also has lion's share in the country's mineral reserve, which is why it is a perfect place to showcase our industry's need for this special CBM round. Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has launched Special CBM Bid Round 2021 under Open FDI licensing policy, where 15 CBM blocks of 8,500 square kilometers are on offer. Odisha has around 80 billion tons of coal reserve, which is contributing to almost 25% of the India's coal reserve and has important asset for CBM development. In this regard, Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, under the aegis of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, is organizing this investors meet for CBM. We expect that this event will help promoting CBM-related EMP activities, fostering collaboration among the industry and government, enhancing ease of doing business, and attracting investment in exploration and production in the CBM of this year. I now welcome our respected speakers for this plenary session. Shri G. Srinivasji, Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Shri Amarnathji, Additional Secretary, Exploration, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Shri Hemant Sharma, Principal Secretary Industries, Government of Odisha, Dr. Anand Gupta, Additional Director General Development DGH, and Ms. Aarti Gupta, HOD CBMS DGH. I request all the dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. Thank you everyone. To start with the program, we will present a short film highlighting the recent reforms under special CBM background. These reforms would give a strong impetus to Indian upstream sector by intensifying CBM exploration and development in unexplored area. Can we have the movie, please?
India, a nation emerging as a new growth beacon on the world map. With the current GDP growth at 9.5%, India will be the third largest energy consumer, as its energy demand is all set to grow 3 times as compared to the entire world. To meet this surge in demand, Government of India is focused at boosting domestic production. Being a signatory to the Paris Agreement on climate change, India is committed to increase share of clean fuel in its energy basket, and natural gas will be playing a pivotal role. The Government of India has already announced its ambition to triple the share of natural gas to 15% by 2030. Therefore, all eyes will be on domestic gas production, as gas is also positioned more secure as part of global energy transition. The expansion of existing pipeline grid with an authorized capacity of 950 MMSCMD planned through City Gas Distribution Program. Nationwide online delivery-based gas trading platform launched in June 2020. And ambitious target of doubling pipeline infrastructure as part of Future India gas grid showcases that Government of India has some great plans for the expansion of the complete gas sector. With the transition plan to a gas-based economy and boosting of domestic gas production, together present a significant opportunity for coal bed methane, popularly known as CBM, as an alternative source for augmenting India's gas energy resource. Being a country with the 5th largest coal reserve, contribution of CBM can play a great role in achieving the set targets. CBM was first explored in 1995 and the policy for exploitation was formalized in 1997. The auctioning of CBM blocks started from the year 2001 and the first commercial production of CBM commenced in 2007 from Raniganj, South Block, West Bengal. Over a period of 7 years, government conducted 4 CBM bidding rounds awarding 33 blocks, covering 16,600 square kilometers area, with an investment of $2.1 billion US. The prognosticated CBM resource of the country at present stands at 2,600 BCM, and till year 2020, CBM production in the country has risen to the level of 642 MMSCM. At present, 8 CBM blocks are active. Since 1997, government has also undertaken key policy reforms to facilitate CBM operators and improve the business ecosystem. Influenced by this new policy ecosystem, Government of India has launched special CBM bid round 2021 under HELP policy framework. With the modalities of ease of doing business and attractive fiscal terms, 15 blocks are on offer, covering an area of around 8,500 square kilometers. Out of these proposed CBM blocks, 2 blocks are identified in Odisha. Apart from stunning architecture and heritage, Odisha not only has the rich potential, but it is one of the gifted parts of the world. where a
अभी कर
capital
देना, एक
mineral
केबल डालना है वो कर
resources
देना।
exists in abundance.
नहीं नहीं कर देना।
These blocks have been carved out by the government with attractive terms while facilitating ease of doing business, such as no overlap with coal block areas, only work program-based bidding, no revenue sharing till windfall gain, single license for conventional and unconventional hydrocarbons, full marketing and pricing freedom for gas produced, exploration allowed during entire contract period, 100% participation from foreign companies or joint ventures, availability of infrastructure through Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga pipeline and CGD network, single state-based carving of blocks for regulatory ease. These remarkable changes in CBN policy framework, accompanied with thorough steps towards ushering in ease of doing business, make CBN operations in India as investor-friendly as never before. Time is overdue, and we invite you to be part of India's CBN exploration and production story.
So this short video has pretty much given a glimpse into CBM history in India, the current status, and forecasted growth in CBM industry. To start with the first session, I now invite Dr. Anand Gupta to present an overview of gas-based economy and CBM development in India. Dr. Gupta, in his current capacity as Additional Director General Development DGH, with an experience of 35 years in the industry, is overseeing the holistic development of oil and gas industry in India. Over to you, sir.
ठीक है, दे दूं।
Thank you. Good morning. Respected dignitaries on the dais, respected dignitaries of the dais, senior state officials, all the company's participants and colleagues. Thank you very much for joining over here in this investors meet. And I would like to thank especially the Principal Secretary Industries, Government of Odisha, with whom I met about 15 days back when I came to introduce to him about the CBM bid round. He was very keen and excited that yes, we must do it. And the support which has been given by your teams over here in organizing and bringing the people together, we hereby acknowledge it over here. So, sir, there you have seen the film over here, and as part of our interaction with the different states, we are trying to present these CBM blocks. The idea is basically to involve the state authorities also, because once the blocks are awarded, the work with the state government is very important. So as part of this interaction, we have been meeting different states, and in this series today we are here at Bhubaneswar with at Odisha. I will present to you the gas-based economy and CBM in India. The idea is that the Honorable Prime Minister has already given the vision that by 2030, the gas contribution in the economy should rise from the current levels of about 6.3% to 15%. And in this endeavor, CBM is also going to contribute, and the whole bid round is based on this idea that we also start producing from the CBM blocks. Next, please. So you have seen in the film that for the last about 25 years, there has been number of efforts and initiatives which have been taken right from CBM policy formulation till the natural gas reforms which have been made in 2020. All the idea is to encourage the gas production in the country and use it as a clean and better fuel. And in 2021, we launched the CBM bid round after carrying out a very comprehensive analysis and the lessons which we have seen from the blocks which are under operation and which were awarded earlier. Next, please. So as you can see that there has been a lot of thrust on ease of doing business, and at the highest level this is being discussed, and keeping in this view, investor-friendly policies have been prepared, the simplified contract management system has been put in place, and increased collaboration along with the operators has been envisaged, and all these efforts are in this direction. And in this respect, I also request the government of Odisha once again that once these blocks are awarded, the support which is required so that the clearances are provided at the earliest and the resources from these blocks is monetized and these blocks start producing. So we have got an ECC Empowered Coordination Committee, which is headed by the Cabinet Secretary. There has been simplification in environment clearances. Early monetization scheme has been launched. Self-certification processes have been put in place, whereby the operators can certify based on the work which has been carried out as per the requirement. Single window clearance system has been introduced and a lot of work is still being done. Online contract management system has been put in place. Puja Pragati portal has been created, which is being headed by the Secretary Petroleum. Upstream India portal has been created so that operators and other people can interact over there. And the India Gas Exchange has been created, from which also we will have a presentation in the second session. Next, please. So as you can see that the gas production in the country has been increasing, and this will be a year when we will be crossing about 34 BCM of gas after about 2014-15, and this has been possible through the contribution from the East Coast from one of the operators who has started a gas production, and the production from the CBM blocks have also started increasing. We expect that by 24-25 the country's gas production should be about 52 BCM, and by 23-24 we should be able to cross 50 BCM. 50 BCM. Next, please. So as you can see that the efforts at the government level is being made that we should have one nation and one grid, and in this respect the LNG regasification is expected to increase from 40 MTPA and with the 6 terminals to 62 MTPA to the 10 terminals. And the natural gas pipelines are expected from about 19,000 kilometers in 2021 to 36,000 kilometers in 2024. It is spread across all breadth and length of the country. Next. Next. So the connectivity to all fertilizers, refineries, CGDs, industries and clusters will be there, and infrastructure development is being carried out through the digital technologies along with this. Next. So the gas distribution is also being made accessible to the public, and the CNG stations, it is expected that in 2021, which are about 3,400, should reach to 10,000 in the year 2030. And the domestic PNG, which is about 8 million, should reach to 50 million. The whole idea is to cover the CG coverage, 86% of the country's area and 95% of the population by 11th round, which has been recently concluded. As you can see that by the 10th round, there were 230 geographical areas, and in the 11th round, 65 more have been added. So this will cover all the areas. All these subjects will finally require the gas, and if we can produce from these blocks also, this will contribute towards the CGD and making the gas accessible to the public. So we expect that in the next 5 to 6 years, almost $60 billion of investment is expected in the gas infrastructure, about 13 billion, in LNG terminals, $4 billion. Gas-based industry is about $6.9 billion, ancillary industry is about $2.7 billion, CGD network almost $13 billion, other $20 billion. So these kind of investment is being planned, which will help in moving towards the gas-based economy. Next. So as you can see, sir, that the CBM production in the country has been increasing. It started from 2011-12 from the 84 million SCM per year has reached to almost 642. We expect that it will be about 700 million this year, and in the next 3 years, it is further expected to increase to 3 times. So from the levels of the initial 2011-12, it increased by 8 times, and another 3 times it is expected to be increased in the next 3 years. These are the 8 blocks on the left side table, if you can see, which are currently there. And next 2 years we'll see good amount of actions, because 4 more blocks are going to start the production, which are currently under the development stage. Next, please. So this is the CBM blocks that a total of 33 blocks are awarded over the years actually, and after some of the blocks could not be produced because of the clearances or issues, and after carrying out a comprehensive study, what you see in the film also, that now we have come out with this new special round which has got some very specific and very attractive features. These 8 blocks are currently operating in the 3 states, that is in the West Bengal. There are 3 blocks which are currently operated by GECL, ONGC and EOGPL and JBCIL. In the Jharkhand, we are operating 3 blocks, In the Madhya Pradesh also we are operating 2 blocks. There has been an investment of about $2.2 billion which has been made till December 2021 in these blocks, and we have produced about 5 BCM of gas from these blocks till now. So this is the current status of CBM operations, that resources which are estimated is about 62 TCF, that is about 1.1767 BCM. From the 4 blocks we are operating about producing about 2021 1.7 million meter cube per day, and the current production in the from these 4 blocks is about 1.9 billion 1.9 MMSCMD. The gas place has been estimated for it to be about 295 BCM. Annual gas production, as I mentioned, was over there, and 5 BCM we have produced. We have drilled almost 1,000 wells in the country on CBM till now, out of which about 670 are producing, and 170 are shut, which are in the process of revival by the different operators. Right side, you can see some of the pictures from these facilities and the drilling which is being done in the CBM blocks. So, sir, this is a special CBM background, which you saw in the film also, that in the 6 states these are being offered, covering 4 sedimentary basins, about 8,500 square kilometers areas, and these states are listed on the right side, that is Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Odisha, and West Bengal. So this is the salient features, as I mentioned before, it was in the film also, that there is no revenue sharing with the government. This is a very unique thing, and this will encourage the investors because your risk and the recovery will be much faster. Next. So, sir, this is the CBM potential and activity which is expected, that about 884 square kilometer area is there, 124 BCM of the resources are envisaged over there. We expect, based on our current calculations, that the government can get almost 6,000 crore rupees of royalty over a period of 20 years. So that's the kind of thing which is available to the government, and it is all to the state government. We expect that almost 2,000 persons employment can be generated, and already pipeline authorization of more than 1,800 kilometers has been given in the Odisha government, so that evacuation of this gas will be possible. Next. So these are the 2 blocks. We have marked it over here, and we are in touch and interacting with the state authorities, and I understand almost from the 9 departments of the government of Odisha are here. So that is the kind of support which will be required once these blocks are allocated. This first block is in the Sundargarh district, about 191 square kilometer area. Resources envisaged is about 31 BCM. Pipeline will be near almost 5 kilometers away, because earlier from the CBM blocks, one of the challenge was with respect to the evacuation. Now with this network and the pipelines which are coming up, we will have a pipeline almost 5 kilometers near to the place. That all has been marked. I understand GAIL team is also here, with whom also we have interacted, and they are also working hard along with the other operators. Next. This is the second block, which is in the Sambalpur Angul district, about 700 square kilometer area. The resources envisaged are about 92 BCM, and the pipeline is passing near to the block actually, so that evacuation will be possible, and the coal field is Talcher. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you, and we hope that in the years to come, the blocks from Odisha will contribute. As the principal industries with whom I interacted at that time, he was mentioning that gas is one very big requirement in this state for the industries. So, sir, here is an opportunity for the state to realize it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with the recent developments and way forward for CBM activities in India. I now invite Shri Hemant Sharma, Principal Secretary Industries, Government of Odisha, to brief the audience on ease of doing business and support system from Odisha government that can give an impetus to our vision of CBM development. Over to you, sir.
Switch.
Shri Uday Srinivas, our senior from Odisha cadre, who is now working at a very senior position in Government of India in 2 ministries, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and also in the who in public distribution, Dr. Anand Gupta, Meet DGH, Hydrocarbons, Government of India, who has travelled all the way from the war zone of Russia to Bhubaneswar to participate in this meeting. I think he deserves a round of applause. So, commitment. He landed from Russia only yesterday, very late in the night, and you see him here with all of us, trying to encourage us to participate in the next round of bidding. Shri Additional Secretary from Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and Gupta, also from Government of India. Senior officers from all the concerned line departments from Government of Odisha, and most important, for whom this meeting has been convened, the prospective bidders for the CBM rounds of Odisha. From what you would have heard from Dr. Gupta, and also would have learned from the short film which was presented here today, that this is a new opportunity, this is an exciting opportunity, but most of all, this is an idea whose time has come. And you would remember one of our Prime Ministers had said on a similar occasion, no power on earth can stop an idea whose time has come. Coal plant methane is an idea whose time has come in India and also in Odisha. The entire ecosystem which is required for mining methane, for transporting it, for marketing it, and for utilizing it in domestic and international industries is now available in India because of the work which is being done by state governments and the central government. Now, my job here is to tell you about the state government's part of the story. How is it that the state government would extend all assistance, all facilitation for the bidders as well as the successful bidder who gets to operate the two blocks in Odisha. We are here in full force with me to give confidence to you. From the Industries Department, I have my Additional Secretary, Mr. Shubhendra Nayak. From Forest and Environment Department, we have special officers. The Central Nodal Officer for Forest Clearance also is here. We have senior officers from Pollution Control Board, from Factories and Labour Department, from Revenue Department, also from Water Resources Department, apart from the most important team of officers which is joining from EPICOL, led by our Chief General Manager, Mr. Kalyan Mohanty, along with this team of officers, Shri Devashish Das. He is the General Manager who looks after ground level clearances in Government of Odisha. Shri Rajiv Dhal, who looks after single window services in Odisha. Shri Gaurav Doshi, who is the go-to person for any technical issues which you might face in your clearances. And also Tejas Kulkarni, who is our IPA. He is a officer from PwC, but working very closely with EPICOL and Government of Odisha for investment promotion activities. So you can see that the full force of Government of Odisha is here in order to give that confidence to you that this is a bidding now which is being conducted by Government of India, but Government of Odisha is fully supporting it. We are committed to support it not only during the process of bidding, but also during the process of exploration and also drilling and further transportation and marketing of the produce. Now, I'll take you through a very brief presentation which will give you, I'm sure that most of you are aware, but however, just to put things in perspective, I'll very quickly take you through a brief presentation about what kind of facilitation support is available in Odisha for any investment. More importantly, for this category of investment, since this is happening for the first time in Odisha, therefore we have set up a dedicated team of officers in Industries Department and EPICOL who would guide you through the entire process of obtaining the necessary clearances and facilitation for making this happen. We would also give you a dedicated nodal officer in Industries Department who would be a single person exclusively assigned to the successful bidder to provide you single window support services and also take you to other departments, including work at the grassroots level in the districts as and when you need. So, just right. Next. So you know about it. Odisha is a leader in mining and metallurgy sector. Mining and metallurgy is natural to Odisha because of the huge resource base we have and because of the policies of value addition which our government has adopted for quite some time. We have converted this resource advantage also into a manufacturing advantage. So we are not only the leaders in mining, we are also the leaders in metallurgy. We not only have the largest mineable reserves and the largest mine produced from Odisha in India, we also have the largest capacity of steel, stainless steel, aluminium making in the country. And this leadership will only continue to improve because of all the investments which are happening in the mining and metallurgy sector in Odisha. Coal bed methane is almost similar to mining activity. Since we have a department, steel and mines department, which deals exclusively with mining related clearances, and we have decided to set up a high level clearance authority which would deal exclusively at a single nodal point for all the clearances which would be required for these two blocks in Odisha. So you know about industrial development, as I mentioned, the resource advantage has given us industrial base which is resource led, but at the same time our diversification of industrial base has happened because of the active policy support and the incentivization which is being given through policies by government of Odisha. So it started with resource based industries, but again it has been promoted through infrastructure-led growth in petrochemicals, in chemicals, in plastics, and other places and other category of industries where infrastructure, availability of infrastructure, for example, ports, rail and road network is an important part. It is also agri-produce driven. A lot of agri-based industries are getting set up in Odisha and we are actively promoting this diversification. More importantly, Odisha is a place known for its skilled workers, and the government of Odisha has invested heavily into the skilling ecosystem in our ITIs, in our polytechnics, in our technical and professional institutions, including setting up of a highly sophisticated World Skills Center at Mancheshwar in Bhubaneswar. So you are assured, anybody who does work on the industrial and services front in Odisha is assured of a continuous stream of highly talented, skilled workforce for their enterprises. Industrial facilitation, our Honorable Chief Minister has been leading the state for almost 22 years now. This political stability also gives us what is called policy consistency, policy certainty and policy consistency. There are no policy flip-flops in Odisha unlike in most other and many other places. At the same time, our policies, industrial policies are not cast in stone. They are responsive, we respond to market requirements, we respond to industry requirements. For instance, in our upcoming industrial promotion policy, we would be having a separate set of incentives, a separate category for the CPM, for the coal bed methane and other such activities which are new age, high technology, and you have a long gestation period to give returns. So we assure you a continuous policy support and a political environment which is highly conducive for doing business. We have a robust land acquisition system. Now we understand that CBMs do not really require very large scale land acquisition. However, over a period of time, specific land acquisition is required for the infrastructure which comes up. Be assured you have highest level of facilitation support, whether it is for conducting SIAs or preparing the management plans or for having any R&R setups, etc. We assure you that you would set up a team which would deal exclusively for your land and rehabilitation related matters, including forest diversion for environment clearance, which would definitely be required. We now have a huge land bank for compensatory afforestation. We understand that in both the blocks in Odisha, some amount of forest diversion would definitely be involved, and we are committed to provide the necessary support for both the forest diversion as well as the environmental clearance. Yes. Now, our single window services today, they are recognized across India as the best single window facilitation mechanism. This system which we had set up about 3 years ago Today, 52 services, clearances, licenses, permits, in both categories, pre-construction, post-construction, pre-commissioning, post-commissioning. 52 services from 18 departments are today available to our single window. And you need to fill up one application form. You have to be integrated combined payment and through electronic means these applications are transferred to different departments. There is a grievance redressal mechanism also, and there is a system where this gets reviewed every month by a committee chaired by the Chief Secretary. More importantly, I am sure that most of you would be aware, Government of India has recently launched the National Single Window System, where central government department related clearances are also available through a single window platform. Orissa single window is directly integrated with Government of India single window. So either you apply in our single window, you can migrate to national single window and avail all the central government license clearances services, or you can connect through the national single window and you can migrate seamlessly to Orissa single window to get all the clearances and support. This is a unique feature, and only a few states in the country today can have this kind of an integrated central as well as state single windows. Now, this obviously, if some of this work would have resulted in positive outcomes, it's just a snapshot of how this kind of a facilitation mechanism, positive policy support, a proactive government, and a stable policy regime has given us. You can see that our general approval and clearances time, which used to take immense, it used to take more than 400 days in the year 2014, has now come down to about 20 days. So this is something unique to our single window, and we would strongly advise you to take benefit of this next. There is a dedicated project monitoring group. So, in spite of having a single window, in spite of providing all the support, there are possibilities that there might be grievances. Some application is not moving, some unnecessary queries are being raised, your application forms are not being addressed with due seriousness. So there is a system where you can log into an online portal called State Project Monitoring Group, which is a parallel system also working in Government of India, and that grievance is escalated to a committee chaired by the Chief Secretary, where departmental secretaries are also present, and on a month-to-month basis, these grievances are redressed. So you can either join from the central portal, which is called the PNG, run by DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, or you can log into our state portal, which is run by Equal and Industries Department. There is since last 1 year, we have also started a program called Industry Care. So Industry Care program is where we take a group of officers from the concerned departments and led by the principal advisor to Honorable Chief Minister, who has been dedicatedly assigned the task of industrial facilitation. We go to districts one by one, call all the industries there, and any grievance which you might be having, or any bottlenecks or obstacles which you might be facing, either in setting up of your plants or in working of your plants, are redressed on the ground in the presence of all officers. This is really working, and you can see the numbers of districts which we have already covered in the last 12 months in spite of the COVID pandemic, and we further assure you that in both these places, both the block 1 is in the Sundarbans district, the block 2 extends across Sambalpur and Angul. We assure you that this mechanism would also be available to you to avail the services. This is led by experts deployed by PwC. They work directly with the district collector. They are housed in the office of the district collector, and since district collectors have to look after a diverse set of responsibilities, it might be possible, it might so happen that industries do not immediately get some time from the collector. So there is a DIPA who can meet the district investment promotion agency. DIPA meets the collector twice every day. So you are assured of the right kind of support and the right time devotion from the district administration also to this mechanism. Now, in terms of enabling infrastructure, I'm sure that most of you, having had our plans in projects and upcoming plants in Orissa, so you are aware, but just this is a port-led industrial infrastructure in Odisha. 3 ports, Dhamra, Paradip, and Gopalpur on the existing Sumayota coming up to Tata's 2 airports, Bhubaneswar and Jharsuguda. And this is something which I must mention to my senior Bhubanesh Srivastava, because he was instrumental in operationalizing this Jharsuguda airport. Bhubaneswar airport took 10 years to move from 1 flight per day to 10 flights per day. Jharsuguda airport took 9 months to move up from 1 flight per day to 16 flights per day. That is the growth in Odisha. So both these tollways, whether it is the Angul Talcher block and whether it is or the they are accessible to a network of roads, railways, and most importantly, to have port connectivity in Odisha, and this connectivity is only improving through the dedicated freight corridors which have been set up by Government of India, and also because of the intense rail network which already exists in Odisha and is also further likely to improve. More importantly, under the Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga Yojana, under the CGD network which are being set up, both these places you are locked in to the national gas grid. So once you are locked into the national gas grid, and across these 3 ports, these ports are there to serve this large industrial ecosystem. Next. So these are some of the dedicated rail networks which have come up in Odisha. I think Odisha, because of its financial stability, is one state which is able to participate and contribute 50% to the equity of any rail project which comes up in Odisha, whether it is for freight traffic or for passenger traffic. Now, for all that we think, our colleagues from the Government of India and PNG have already explained to you. These are the 2 blocks, and you are already aware of the details. So, this is from our side, from Odisha, what the Odisha perspective is. So, as I mentioned, there is a ready-made market in Odisha, and this market will only grow with the kind of metal processing facilities which are being planned in Odisha, and also the chemical and fertilizer complexes which are coming up in our PCAPI and other regions. There is a market for CDM in Odisha itself. More importantly, this logistics infrastructure of ports and the gas grid enables you to ride on those grids and take advantage. Low cost of doing business, cost of power, cost of skilled labor, cost of water, cost of land, and the facilitation support which is all, I would say, unique in the country. There are special benefits of this scheme, and there are facilities which are available through our industrial policy also. We welcome you to study those policies, and in case you have any queries, you can come back and get clarification from Mr. Kalyan Monti, who deals with this subject in next. So that's all from my side. Finally, I cannot resist the temptation first of thanking Dr. Gupta, who was very keen that we do this investment promotion event here, the prospective bidders meet in a manner which is befitting to the occasion, and my sincere thanks to you for all attending this conference. And I will not be able to do justice to myself if I do not mention special thanks to Shri G. Srinivas. I think most of you would have heard of double engine. Have you heard of double engine? But have you heard of double rocket? So he is rocket number 1 in Delhi. He is our rocket in Delhi at the right place, and we are your second rocket in Delhi. So,
Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor, Ministry of Petroleum. Mr. Hemant Sharma, we have always held Odisha in high esteem in terms of its working culture, in terms of its bureaucracy, state systems, and we always believe that it has great potential. But I must which they have combined together, but even the central government. So you enter from any place, you will find all the doors open. And this is one of the remarkable things which makes Odisha one of the pioneer states in encouraging industrial development. So I am impressed. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma, in making us aware of this. The connectivity of Odisha is another very, very important thing. For the last several years, governments have been working and in terms of infrastructure availability, it has become well connected. He mentioned about the airports. So it's easy to basically commute. It's not like earlier times that Odisha is too far. Like I come from Haryana, so for me, when I came here 20 years ago, it was too long a place. But now, the connectivity is so much, he mentioned 16 flights a day, places called Zazula. So that shows how well connected Odisha is becoming. And in last several years, we have done a lot in oil and gas sector in Odisha. Now, a lot of activities are happening there. Not only CGA, but conventional oil and gas activities are happening. In offshore areas, activities are happening. So Odisha is an extremely right place to make decision about investment. And coming to the gas infrastructure, now you might have heard about the climate change issues. So we are making investment, Government of India, state governments, in renewable energy sources. We would like to move away from fossil fuels. But it is not easy, it's a transition process. And gas is one of the fuels which is going to work as a bridge fuel from fossil fuels to renewable fuels. So, the role of the gas becomes very important. Right now, we are consuming only about 6% gas in our overall energy basket. And it has been decided that we will increase it to up to 15%. So, all activities are happening to increase the consumption of gas in the country. So, as a result, a lot of initiatives have been taken. And as Mr. Sharma also mentioned, the Ujjwala pipeline. A national grid for gas infrastructure is being created. Throughout the country, you will have infrastructure available for transportation and consumption of gas. You might have heard, those who are in the gas sector, that we have allocated contracts for city gas distribution. Now, recently, 11th round of city gas distribution was announced, and with that, almost 96% population of the country will be covered with gas connectivity in next few years. So any production of gas which is being made can be easily transported to any place in the country. So that enabling infrastructure is being created in the country. So any investment in gas sector is going to be a very, very beneficial investment because consumption can take place anywhere. This was not there about say 5-6 years back. CBM areas, those who might have been associated with CBM, it was difficult to evacuate the gas because locations were remote. But now it is being connected. Now, asset manager from ONGC is here, you can talk to him. That they are also trying to make production. But right now they are not connected, they can produce. But by December end, they will be connected with the national grid. So it can be transported. So these things are just coming down. So any investment in gas sector is going to be a very, very financially lucrative investment. Coming to CBM, India is the fifth largest coal reserve country. Now we can't allow these reserves to remain idle and stranded. So exploitation of CBM is very, very beneficial and potentially good energy resource for the country. So as a result, we have started focusing on CBM. And some of these states in eastern India, Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, have good potential. And we have started working on that, how to exploit the overall potential of the CBM. One of the important things which I would like to point out and which is difficult for people to understand is that the current bidding process, you are not supposed to share any revenue with the government. There is no revenue sharing arrangement in this. The bidding will take place only on the basis of how much work you will do. So whatever investment you are making, it's your own revenue, but of course, taxes will be there. It's not a tax free royalty which is there, which is a standard, but not a bidding parameter. So any investment is purely your investment and your revenues. So this is one of the important things which we have introduced. In addition to that, we are trying to simplify all our contracts. So this is one opportunity for you. If you find that anything is in our contracts which hinders the investment, so you are free to basically talk to our team. Please convey to us, and we are more than ready to make any changes which facilitates the investment. And lastly, I just like to make one point which was mentioned that you might be reading every day that what is happening in Ukraine and Russia. Now, this is going to impact the whole energy sector of the world. Russia is one of the largest producers for oil and gas. And we are one of the large consumers of oil and gas. Right now, we are largest energy consumer country, and our energy consumption is going to increase. In rest of the places, they have already plateaued in consumption. But our energy consumption is going to increase. If you see our urbanization, population growth, industrialization, all these will need energy. And the worldwide things are getting more and more complicated. Oil today is at $112 per barrel. And I don't know where it will stop. And it is very difficult for the country to import such expensive items. We need energy, we need oil and gas. So we are making all our efforts to encourage domestic investment. All our policies are designed to facilitate investment. So this is an opportunity for all of you to be part in this program, part in prosperity of India, and be part in prosperity of the state of Odisha. I welcome you all and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri G. Srinivasu, Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor, MOPNG, to express his view on this special CBM round. Shri Srinivasu is an IAS officer from 1990 batch, Odisha cadre, and has worked at various positions since then. Sir, I welcome you.
मेरी बात हुई थी मॉर्निंग में
So, good morning to you all. And first of all, I should thank Iman for being here, for being proactive as always, and then inviting and coordinating the MOPNG. I will also welcome Sri Amarnath, who is the Additional Secretary, and also from our colleagues, Dr. Anand Gupta, and also Madam Bhakti Gupta. So friends, let us try to view the things in a perspective. You are aware that gas use it is a sector, perhaps as the other speakers has told, it is a sector it's there to be exploited. I just wanted to tell you what the background for that. Overall scenario is being explained. We consume 10% of the world energy, out of which there is a rapid growth which we have seen from 2000 onwards, what the area is 60% increase in the consumption. So in gas also we are expecting threefold increase in the next 20 years. So gas is going to be a major economic driver. And gas distribution is going to be an important part of our policy plan. You must be aware that government is also given a lot of importance. In fact, I look at the things from a different financial perspective. We have given around 9 lakh crore of gas connections for the last 2 years in budget. So that much that we see on these 9 lakh crores, there is an immediate acceptance. You must be aware of gas cylinders. And we perhaps given the budget, if there is a further possibility of giving more connections, we would always like to do it. So this is the kind of the scenario. And from the national perspective, you are aware, you have seen the gas pipelines crossing the country. We have many projects. We have just finished the Redishpur Handia pipeline, which ran into
server online,
which is just completed. And most of the time these pipelines are unviable, so we do the viability gap funding to be almost equal. Depending upon the pipeline projects, we always look at how to make it economically viable from the soil now. Then we give a gap funding. Gap funding can be from 30% to 90%. So why we are giving 90%? You are aware the focus is again on the gas-based economy. And you are aware this sector is changing very quickly. We have protocols, one of the in Paris, the COP meetings. We have agreed at certain emission norms, certain clean energy norms. So going ahead, gas is going to be a very important factor in our economy. And this is an opportunity for all of you people to look at, see the opportunity. We always admire the people who take decisions when things are not very clear. So, which is the investor's prerogative. So, we would like you to give as much information as possible. But sitting this side of the dais, I will not be able to take a decision unless more facts, more information there. But you people are expertise in the opportunity and putting the investment. So for that we will facilitate. But frankly speaking, if I would like to quote an example. When I was a director in the district nearby Kashmir, now it is perhaps Hemant University is one of the now it has I think largest steel production in Eastern India that is it has a lot of plants and all kinds of things. Almost like 20 years back I was acquiring land, there are 25,000 acres of land I acquired. So most of them I used to think that this 25,000 acres land is as a collector I was looking at the people's welfare or wasting a lot of time. I was not sure that this plant should come up, but I am surprised now to see that this is perhaps the steel hub of India. All the big ministers there. So we cannot visualize what the things which will make the investors come and invest and make that area. So frankly, that time I never thought that this area could become whether this land will be used or not. Now that area is perhaps in the national level, perhaps that much of steel production is not there in India. So what I would like to say is that there are opportunities in Orissa. That is, I am aware of the systems here working. So once I visited Australia, so long time back, I was surprised to see the length of the train. It's more than 1.3 kilometers, which is transported iron. So what does I just was asking what difference it makes? I used to see the port headline. It's a huge port, and those times when I go to the ports, it is full of manpower. And port headline used to be operated by 3-4 operators, mostly ladies, and they used to sit in a computer sometimes 1,000 kilometers away, and they used to get things. So, what I was asking the curiosity, what makes it? They used to tell me the number of people are not important, it is the engine which train, the engine number of double doesn't matter. So, I would like to tell that here we have a Hemant who is heading the force of the industrialization in Orissa. So, his presence should assure that things will be smooth, and he will be able to provide him solutions. And he's smart on his feet, and he can give solutions for wherever it is. I know the license can be very cumbersome, but I have this experience of this post-fit system. In fact, I do not know how many licenses are there in post-fit. At least from 80 to 90, I think as a labor secretary, I have contributed in this license single labor system. So this system works. It has been it has got a national award, and all systems will have some limitations. For example, if somebody has to be there to connection to the plant, the person cannot view it on the system. He has to go see it on the place what is there or not. There are practical difficulties are there, but the system, I'm sure it will deliver. So you people can depend on the Orissa system, which is time tested. And these single window systems, there is a system of evaluation, there is a time limit, and people will move, and then they provide a solution. This much I can tell you from the state government point of view, having undergone the administration, having trained in this administrative works here, and having an understanding of how the system works here, I am sure compared to other states, we have a greater advantage, because as soon as the gas is produced, the industry is available here. And you must have seen the kind of the ports which are there. Some time back I used to see the Damra port. At the time I'm sure that we got licenses to make a Damra port as the biggest port in India. 313 or 14 million tons of capacity, which we got a license when I was working at the port sector. So it has LNG terminals. We have lines crisscrossing through Orissa, and this place has a huge industrial presence. This place has a better administrative structure compared to some other states which from Delhi I look at very closely. So it has a potential for you to take a chance and invest in the coal blocks which are there. And these two areas are connected by the railway network, gas networks, and in fact, if you see the state budget as such, it is one of the strongest state budgets in India as of now. So this much I can tell you. I look at various other departments. I know roughly the state finances, and the state has the capacity to invest, and the continued stability perhaps makes a good case for you to invest in these sectors, especially gas and gas-based economy. This is the place I given a choice. I will look at comparative to the geographic areas in India. So that is for as far as the Orissa is concerned, and as we are aware, now the gas pipelines are there, and we have CGD. Almost number of cities we have auctions are complete, and then we are providing gas network to most of these cities. So that is recently finalized, and we will soon see there is a lot of change in the consumption pattern. Our gas-based economy will begin very shortly. So I would request you to watch this, and then if there is an opportunity, I'm sure we should be able to. We should be able to. We should be able to. Coming back to. Coming back to, this is general my knowledge of this sector. But coming back to actually my work, what I do in the department, I look at few of the contracts. I look at the very old contracts, like I say, I'm not selling 40-year-old contracts, how the thing. But he is explaining to, I'm very happy to know that now these are the covenants that you invest and you take it out. And there is no pricing, and there is no sharing unless there is a big ball game. So we have looked at the contracts. Please go through the contracts line by line. The contracts, if it works, what makes the cut, you come back to us, Amarnath and us, we can give it feedback, and we will be looking at any changes will make you to more freely invest in these two blocks. These two geographies, Sundargarh and Sambalpur, are one of the most peaceful areas, and there is no issue of law and order or any other issues, unlike in other parts of India. So the governance will give you enough opportunity for you to invest and exploit the resources, and nearby, because of the grid availability, nearby you can evacuate quickly and make fast. So it gives an opportunity for you to financially benefit from this. I am also sure that pricing also is not, there is no restricted pricing on this. Compared to the other gas pricing mechanism, which is subjected for the imported gas. So there is a freedom of pricing also. So these two blocks, in my understanding, is set up in a very good administrative setup. The team of officers from Odisha is there, and we are there to look at and see that these CBM is turned into reality. And we will be, with interest, we will be watching the next step of your progress. Today will also be having a meeting with at 6 p.m. and then I'm sure we will be taking some feedback from all your listening. If you that the licenses which are required is delivered, and whatever other infrastructure gaps are there, that will be fixed. With this, I would like to thank the Director of my office taking these initiatives, and also big thank you for Hemant again for taking time out and being with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. With your words of wisdom, we have come to an end of this plenary session. And now, I request Ms. Aarti Gupta, HOD CBMS DGH, to express vote of thanks to all the dignitaries for this session. Good morning to all. We had a very good session. We had very encouraging words from our seniors. On behalf of Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, I would like to thank all the dignitaries present here and all the guests who have come from the various areas, various different states of India. I would like to extend my humble gratitude to Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor, Minister of Petroleum, Shri G. Srinivas sir, for presenting his views and giving us encouraging address for getting into the gas-based economy and talking about the CBM specifically in Odisha. I would express my sincere thanks to Additional Secretary, Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Amarnath sir, for his address giving the Indian gas economy growth and the CBM development in India. surely his support and his encouragement will give us way forward to move ahead in this direction. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Shri Hemant Sharma sir, Principal Secretary Industries, Government of Odisha, who gave an overview on investment support and ecosystem available in Odisha for the investors. Odisha having the vast mineral and coal resources can be a key for civil development, and it can support the civil development in the state. And support provided by the state government in this is a very much warranted, and we require the support. So we require your support on this. Thank you so much, sir. We would like to thank I would like to thank Dr. Anand Gupta, who through his presentation gave us information about gas overview and civil development opportunities available especially in Odisha. He enlightened us on the progress and success of initiatives and programs undertaken for civil production and exploration. Special thanks to Odisha government, state officials and EPCOL officials for their support for making this event, this grand success, and for the support provided us for other clearances also. With presence of all distinguished guests, this demonstrates that we have a complete industry support, and we hope that things will come out good for civil investment in Odisha. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Now I request everybody to kindly join us for the tea. After this break, we will have a technical session. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. This brings us to the end of our first session. I request all the delegates and dignitaries to kindly join us for the tea break. Our next session shall start by 12:15. Further, I would like to inform that investors and companies interested to register for one-to-one interaction with DGH team and officials from MOPNG and state government may kindly contact Mr. Manpreet Kumar and Kumar Prabhakar from DGH. Thank you all.
Hello. क्या नाम है? रोलिंग पीपीटी.
फाउंडर के बाहर होगा.
हाँ, रोलिंग पीपीटी. ठीक है.
उसमें कंफर्म करना था सेकंड वाला जो पीपीटी है.
ये है सर, रोलिंग पीपीटी.
ये तो रोलिंग है तो छोड़ नहीं सकते ना. मुझे टेक्निकल सेशन का जो सेकंड वाला है ना, जस्ट चेक करना है वो डेट सुबह वाली है ना जो मैंने
टेक्निकल टीम.
हाँ, डेट क्या दिखा रहा है. खोलो मत इसमें रखो कर्सर. सेकंड वाले में कर्सर रखो. हाँ, 1 सेकंड. क्या दिखा रहा है नीचे पढ़ो. डेट
4 मार्च.
टाइम
8:12.
ठीक है. अच्छा, ये पीडीएफ आएगा ना तो ये आपको यहीं से कंट्रोल करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं
पीडीएफ उससे चेंज होगा.
ठीक है. एक कोई डिबेट दे ना वो कर घूम पर चला रहा. वहाँ बैठे थे वहाँ बैठे थे जल्दी के नहीं देखिए. ওবিএস হচ্ছে ওবিএস এই ওবিএস হচ্ছে এর মধ্যে তো কিছু হয়ে যাচ্ছে না। খৈনিটা দে না মারাটাতে বলছি দাদা একটা হেল্প করবে দাদা বলছি আমি না ওয়েভিক্স খুলে রেখেছি আর তোমার ইয়ে খুলে রেখেছি ওবিএস এবার ওবিএস দিয়ে না আমি স্ট্রিমিং করছি লাইভ স্ট্রিমিং ইউটিউবে তো ও RMPL আইডি দিয়েছিল ওটাতে আমি স্ট্রিমিং করছি তো আমার না মানে ক্যামেরা ইনপুট আছে কিন্তু না ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড মানে আমি যা বলছি সেটাও মানে ল্যাপটপে চলে যাচ্ছে আর এবার ওইটা এবার ইউটিউবে চলে যাচ্ছে ওটা কী করে কাটবো বলে তো মানে আমরা যখন কনসেন্ট্রেট কোনো কথা বলছি ওটা চলে যাচ্ছে ইউটিউবে ক্যামেরা মাইক ফটেজে গেলাম কার অডিও ইউটিউবের ওদিকে সেটিংয়ে যাবো তো সেটিংসে যাবো অডিও গেলাম ওখানে ক্যাপচার কার্ডে অডিও করো ডেস্কটপ অডিও আছে ডেস্কটপ অডিওটা HDMI হেডফোন 4K USB দেখছি দাদা আসছে দাদা এখন হ্যাঁ আমি যা বললাম হ্যাঁ আসছে দাদা হ্যাঁ এনএডিক্স रोलिंग वाला मैं सोचा प्रेजेंटेशन में चलेगा सर ठीक हाँ बोलो दादा तुम्ही ये दे आरायटा समय पार्टी देवे एदेरके आरायटा समय आरायटा हाँ आसो ना टाका तो पेয়ে যাবে হ্যাঁ আরে कोई रिहाई नहीं। हाँ सर वहाँ है
लास्ट स्लाइड इनको लास्ट टाइम को चेंज करना है हो सकता है
क्या नाम है
लास्ट वो साइड में आ जाओ।
आ जाओ सर। नेक्स्ट
किधर है भाई?
क्या नाम है? किस
योगेश
नाम
मोहित है, योगेश।
टेक्निकल सेशन
हाँ, टेक्निकल सेशन में है,
योगेश?
लास्ट आखिरी वाला।
सबसे लास्ट स्लाइड।
सबसे लास्ट लाइन में देखो जो जहाँ
Thank
जहाँ
you
पे
लिखा
झंडा
हुआ है।
नहीं ऊपर उसके ऊपर
उसके ऊपर
वो जो लास्ट लाइन है ना सितंबर जस्ट फुल्ली सपोर्ट्स और वो झंडा
हाँ
वो एक साथ वन क्लिक पे आना चाहिए बाद में।
वन क्लिक आना चाहिए।
हाँ, क्लिक करने के बाद उसको डाल दो और झंडा भी सिलेक्ट करो।
ठीक है,
दोनों से दे दें
एक ये
झंडा और लास्ट लाइन,
ओनली लास्ट लाइन,
झंडा और लास्ट लाइन।
ये
हाँ,
ये
अपीयर मिला दो, ऐसा नहीं होगा। करूँ मैं? हाँ, पहले लाइन करो फिर झंडा बजिए तो।
एक साथ
अपीयर,
अपीयर करो,
हाँ मतलब जूम आने चलेगा,
अपीयर करो, जूम करो।
जूम करो आने दो, पंच पंच में आने दो। थोड़ा जय हिंद वाला फीलिंग पेट्रोलिक फीलिंग होना चाहिए, समझे ना?
ठीक है,
नहीं भाई,
ओहो।
सिर्फ लास्ट लाइन ऊपर का निकाल दो, दो लाइन। कुछ में दो लाइन दिखेगा पहले, बाद में फिर वो आएगा।
नहीं सर, आपने एक ही में आपने
करूँ मैं?
आपने गलत करा चाहिए।
ये अजय कहाँ है भाई? खत्म ना चुकी
मैं बोलूँ एक काम करो, लास्ट लाइन सेलेक्ट करो, लास्ट लाइन सेलेक्ट करो, सिर्फ लास्ट लाइन सेलेक्ट करो। हाँ, अभी अभी में जाओ, उसमें जाओ, अपीयर करो,
अपीयर कर दिया,
वेरी गुड। अभी उसमें जाओ, झंडा अपीयर करो,
इसको
हाँ अपीयर करो। अभी काम करो, एनिमेशन पेन में जाओ, एनिमेशन पेन है ना साइड में, ऊपर उसके ऊपर एनिमेशन पेन लिखा रहेगा, देखो ऊपर उसके और साइड में, और राइट में, और राइट में, और एक राइट में जाओ, राइट में, राइट 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 बेटा, राइट वो साइड, हाँ एनिमेशन पेन, वेरी गुड। अभी उसमें ना जो नीचे का है ना, नीचे का क्लिक करो, नीचे का पेन में जो नीचे का है ना सेकंड एनिमेशन, हाँ बराबर बता रहे, उंगली दिखा रहा है वहाँ पे। अभी एक अकेले सिर्फ सेकंड को करो क्लिक, सिर्फ सेकंड को क्लिक करो और राइट क्लिक करो, स्टार्ट विद प्रीवियस करो। अब देखो, अब आप समझ जाए। आ गया? बस यही चाहिए था, थैंक यू।
सेव कर दो। রিডাকশন করেছিস রিডাকশন কেন করেছিস ভাই? করেছি দাদা, হ্যাঁ করেছি। 155 978 014 रहेगा मेरे पास तब वेट उठाना पड़ेगा बाबू ना हमारा आईडी तो एडिडेक्स है 155 155 978 14 बंद है तो वो सर सॉरी सर ने बोला था ना అలా యాక్సెస్ వచ్చి ఎక్సెప్ట్ వచ్చి উইন্ডো ডিফেন্ডারটা ন করব স্ট্রিমিংটা কোন স্ট্রিমিংটা খুলবো বলে ওবিএসটা খোলা আছে
आप जॉब करिए आप
না চলছে কিন্তু
आप पूरा फाइनल डिजाइन मैंने ग्रिड उसका तो जो भी साइज मतलब उसमें तो साइज नहीं है खाली सन बोर्ड उनको साइज दिया हुआ
খুলবো
एक बार साइज वाला कीजिए और आप उसको कर दीजिए कि हाँ चालू कर दीजिए तो हम लोग बना के हम लोग को उसमें 4 को 5 को कन्फर्म हो गया समझे कि नहीं वो ना नो पैसा ओके आप बना सकते हैं फाइनल वाला भेज
और करो बेटा
नंबर हो तो भूलिएगा
বেশটা কাটবে কাটবো কাটো 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 না ফির জয়েন হতে হবে জয়েন ওবিএস তো আমার তো ওয়েবএক্স তো চলছে তো ওয়েবএক্সে কোনো প্রবলেম হবে না তো হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ audio input capture add exiting हाँ हाँ तो कैप्चर कार्ड ब्लैक मैजिक करा चाहिए ब्लैक मैजिक तो ম্যাকওয়েলটা ক্যামেরা আছে আর পিপিটিটা তোমার ইয়ে চলছে পিপিটিটা তো তোমার ব্ল্যাক ম্যাজিক ইয়ে ব্ল্যাক ম্যাজিক রিমুভ করছো? মাইক অন নেই তো, জিজ্ঞেস কর। হ্যাঁ দেখ আসছে। আসছে। দেবো। आरती गुप्ता মানে আমি যা বলছি সেটা আসছে, সেটাও তো আসছে। হ্যাঁ ক্যামেরাতে অডিও ইন করেছি, ক্যামেরাতে অডিও ইন আছে, অডিও ইনও আছে আউটও আছে না, মানে হেডফোন ইউএসবি ক্যাপচার কার্ড 4K এই এটাই আছে কি? এটাই আছে কি? হ্যাঁ 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 হেডফোন ইউএসবি ক্যাপচার, তারপরে স্পিকার টু, দেখো আর লেখা আছে, তারপরে স্পিকার টু ব্ল্যাক ম্যাজিক অডিও, ক্যামেরা মাইক। হ্যাঁ এটা ব্ল্যাক ম্যাজিকের, ব্ল্যাক ম্যাজিকের না না ইউএসবি 4K। শুধু আমি না নিজের কথাটা শুনতে পাচ্ছি, কিন্তু ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডে একটা মিউজিকটা চলছে। তুমি কি ওই মিউজিকটা দিয়ে রেখেছো? হ্যাঁ ক্যান্সারের কথাটা শুনতে পাচ্ছি, কিন্তু ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডে মিউজিক চলছে এখন, ঠিক তো? হ্যাঁ ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডে মিউজিকটা চলছে, ওটা শুনতে পাচ্ছি। তুমি এই অডিওটা দিয়ে রেখেছো? না, শুনতে পাচ্ছি না কিন্তু ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডে মিউজিকটা। তুমি যেটা বলছো ভালো সাউন্ড আছে ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডে। হ্যাঁ, ওটাও পাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ, পাচ্ছি। কিন্তু আমি একদম যেটা বলছি সেটা তো শুনতে পাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, আউটপুটে। হ্যাঁ, ওকে স্টপ করবো। হ্যাঁ, नहीं नहीं। हाँ, এই তো এই শোনো না মাইক।
Good afternoon, everyone. We are about to begin our next session, so I request all the delegates and dignitaries to kindly take their seats.
पहले तो दे ऐसे नॉइज आएगा ना। हाँ, बोलो। কেন স্টপ করবো? স্টপ এখন স্টপ করবো? स्टॉप करबो? यही वाला चल रहा है, लोगो चल रहा है। सुनो ना, আমি কি স্টপ করলে তুমি কতক্ষণ লাগবে? अच्छा, কি আমি মানে জিজ্ঞেস করা যায়? ল্যাপটপের মধ্যে কেমন আছে? हाँ, ऑपरेटर ठीक चल रहा है ना? ठीक चल रहा है दोनों। तो वॉइस एक्टिवेशन क्या नाम है सेटा? मैक्स में इशू आ रहा है। मैक्स में इशू होता है। कैमरा नीचे माइक्रोफोन ऑफ कर वो। सूर्य ऑफ कर दो।
Before starting the next segment of this event, I request all our delegates to kindly put their mobile on silent mode.
ठीक है एबार আসছে ঠিক আছে
Good afternoon and welcome back to this next segment of the event. This is the technical session and this session will be chaired by Mr. Gautam Sinha, Executive Director, Strategy and Planning DGH, and the speakers for this session are Mr. Prashant Modi from DECL, Mr. Sushil Kumar Mishra from IGX, Mr. Rajiv Dhar from SR, Mr. Partha Chakrabarti from M-Junction, Mr. Yogesh Mumite from Schlumberger, and Ms. Aarti Gupta, HOD CBMS DGH. I request all our speakers to kindly grace the session. Thank you all. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Aarti Gupta to start the session and brief our audience on the overview of this special CDM Playground 2021 and the salient features of the blocks on offer. Ms. Gupta has a diverse experience of about 20 years in the field of geophysics and is currently leading the CDMS group of DGH. Over to you, ma'am. Good morning to all once again. So, welcome back after the pre-session. Next. As has been discussed in the first session, many things have been told about this special CDM background and the growth potential in various states of India and especially in Odisha. I will just take you through all the 15 blocks which are on offer, the salient feature on in the blocks and the bidding terms and conditions. So as we can see that these are the 15 CDM blocks on offer. From 4 different bases, 2 in Bengal Purnia, but 1 in Nandita Godavari, 1 in Satpura, and majorly most of them are in South River Basin. So total covering a basinal area of around 8,458 square kilometer, and the source potential is 700 BC. Next, please. As has been explained by Gupta sir also in his presentation, we have blocks in 6 states: West Bengal, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh. And here in Odisha we are having 2 blocks: West Bengal 1 block, Jharkhand 2 blocks, Madhya Pradesh 5 blocks, Maharashtra 2 blocks, Odisha and Chhattisgarh 2 blocks, and Chhattisgarh 3 blocks. So in total it is making it as a 15 CDM blocks. Next. The details we can see that in different states we have blocks in Bengal Purnia Basin, which covers actually states of Jharkhand and West Bengal. Then Nandita Godavari state covers the state of Maharashtra. Then Satpura and South River covers Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Odisha. All 3 states it covers in South River basins. Next. Now coming to the specifics of the blocks which are available with us. So first block is in this DPOMHP CBM 2021 by 1. It is in the state of Jharkhand, and actually it covers an area of 560 square kilometers, and resource potential is 190. The good thing is that it is in the one district of Jharkhand, no district. And most of the pipelines are passing nearby the blocks. The infrastructure-wise, as has been brought up by Gupta sir, in most of the states we are going to have the gas infrastructure, and here also we have a pipeline passing through at 87 kilometers near to it. And the next block is, next please. Next block is in this again in the state of Jharkhand, and it covers an area of 1991 square kilometer with a resource potential of 50 BCM. The nearest pipeline here again is 86 kilometers. Next please. So third one is in the state of West Bengal, covering an area of 97 square kilometers. In the district of Birbhum, resource potential 40 BCM, and nearest pipeline is 67 kilometers. Next please. Again in Maharashtra we have a block of 331 square kilometer and having a potential of 18.37 BCM, where actually pipeline is just passing through the block. Next. Can we rush through these blocks quickly? This is another block in Maharashtra with 70 square kilometers of area and potential of 28 BCM. Next please. The other block is in Madhya Pradesh, having an area of 1771 square kilometer in the district of Chitwara. This is the biggest block available in this special CBM platform. It is in the coal field of Satpura. Next please. It's again in the block is again in Madhya Pradesh, in the district of Singrauli, having resource potential of 4 BCM, and you can see that nearby pipeline is at a distance of 41 square kilometer. Next please. Same, we have the block of 222 square kilometers in the district of Singrauli and having resources of 21 BCM. Nearest pipeline is 68 kilometers. Next please. Can you rush through these blocks very quickly? Yeah, thank you. This Chhattisgarh, another block is in Chhattisgarh having 590 square kilometers and district in the district of Umaria and 12.7 BCM resource potential. And in this one, 32 kilometers distance is there for nearest pipeline. Next please. Can we rush through the blocks? Yeah, thank you. This is state of Chhattisgarh, an area of 585 square kilometer, 24 BCM, and nearest pipeline is 75 square kilometer. Next please. Again, in this state of Chhattisgarh, 590 square kilometers of area, and maybe nearest pipeline is passing through the block. Next please. Now coming to the block in Odisha, we have this block in the state of Odisha, an area of 191 square kilometers in the district of Sundargarh. This has been discussed earlier also. But we can see that in these areas we have got nearest pipeline just maybe a small distance of 5 kilometers from the block, and the block 5 falls in the prospective coal field of Ivy Valley. Next please. The other block is in the Talchi coal field in the state of Odisha, having an area of around 700 square kilometers, and it actually encompasses the two districts, Sambalpur and Angul, and resource potential is 92.8 BCM. And good thing about this block is that the nearest pipeline is passing through the block boundary itself. Next please. Yeah, coming to the fiscal terms, as I said earlier. Coming to the fiscal terms of the blocks, we have, as mentioned by Gupta sir also, that it is category 3 basin blocks. This has got royalty at the rate of 10%, but good fiscal thing is there that if we go for early monetization of the block, if we get ahead with the production within 4 years of the award of the block from the effective date of the contract, there will be a concessional royalty rate applicable to this, which is actually for category 3 basis, the 7% of royalty rate. So this kind of fiscal incentive is available for the early monetization of the blocks. Similarly, as it has been mentioned by Sir earlier, that there is no revenue sharing till the windfall gain is there. Next, please. This is the contract timelines. We have got a timeline of 26 years, covering 3 years of exploration period, 3 years of pilot assessment and marketing survey, and 20 years of development and production, with actual provision of 10% of 10 years of extension in case the resources say so. Next, please. Coming to the technical criteria for this thing, there are two things. That one is the mandatory purchase of data package for the block for bidding purposes, and the second thing is the technical qualification criteria. The technical qualification criteria is minimum operational experience of 1 year in any of the oil and gas. It is not necessary to be in senior. It can be any of the oil and gas operating blocks. Next, please. As has been discussed, that being the category 3 basins, the bid evaluation criteria and bidding parameters shall be only the technical part. There will be no financial terms or financial evaluation criteria in this one. We will be evaluating it based on core holes and test holes committed for the blocks. We have a bidding process which my friend from injection will be in detail, he will be discussing. It is that bidders will be bidding online from the designated injection portal. Then bid will be submitted, evaluated and after the approvals authority the MRSC, the revenue sharing contracts shall be signed. The timelines which we can see that it was launched in September 2021. The special secret bid round was launched in September 2021. We have done 2 investors meet, one in Kolkata, second for Bhopal, which actually eventually we had to do virtually, and third one we are here in Bhubaneswar. Then our bid submission is actually, it was expected to start from 15th March, but we are since we have got a bomb, we are requesting for the extension of this bid submission date. Next, portal itself, single portal, we have got special CBM bid tab where you can get everything available. You have access to our notice inviting offer, our model revenue sharing contract, the technical information, the news and updates about this, the query resolution, and once it has got everything is available at one step from the DGH website itself. Then DGH e-bidding portal, which I just said that this e-bidding portal is available online, and I guess my friend from injection will be detailing about it. Next, please. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. That surely has elevated our sincere interest about the event. Discussions about CBM revenues is futile without an insight of its exploration and production in the country. For this, I would like to call upon Mr. Prashant Modi from GECL to enlighten us on the overview of the CBM activity in the Raniganj South Block.
Thank you. Additional Secretary Sir, Mr. Amarnath, Ms. Aarti Gupta, Mr. Gautam Sinha, Meet DGH. Thank you for this opportunity. Great Eastern Energy is one of the pioneers of CBM in India. What Dr. Gupta mentioned, that was us, 2007, to commercialize CBM. Next slide. We have 2 blocks. The Raniganj South block, which was commercialized in 2007, has about 9.25 TCF of gas in place, out of which 2.62 is of CBM. And in 2018, when the unified policy was announced for all hydrocarbons, we have estimated share of up to 6.63 TCF. So we have been in commercial production as mentioned, and we are in the entire value chain of upstream, midstream, and downstream. Our second block is in the south, it's from Naguri, and it's about 1 TCF of gas in place. Next block. Just to give you the milestones, we have been in the business for nearly 30 years. Back in 1993, we had an agreement, a license, MOU and a license agreement with Coal India for this block. Post that, after paying the signature bonus, we did some exploration work till 98, during which time it was shifted to Ministry of Petroleum. Thereafter, in 2001, the first CBM contract in India was signed, which was ours, on May 31st, 2001. EL was issued, we did some pilot production, wells, produced some gas in 2004, listed on the London Stock Exchange in 2005, raised some money, and then started our development program, made our gas gathering stations, implemented our pipelines, took it directly to the customer. So it's a completely dedicated. We had franchise agreements with IOCL and BPCL for selling CNG, which we're not doing anymore. Those are GAs with Indian Oil and Adani. Anyways, that was a very small portion of our business, but all our sales are industrial sales. We also deployed the best technology that was available, whether locally or internationally. We've had continuous reserve upgrades. In the last 15 years, our gas in place has nearly doubled. This is due to finding out more gas content per ton of coal, and also there was more coal available when we did some exploration. Next slide. On the geological highlights, our coal seams are continuous throughout the block. We have 20 seams, 10 of which are persistent and correlatable, which means that they are continuous throughout the seam. Our average coal thickness is about 40 meters, which is comparable to the Black Warrior Basin. Desorption study, again, gas contents were high, in line with the Black Warrior Basin. And fractured basin, when we did our core wells, indicated good permeability, which we have seen both in pre-frac and post-frac when we did our production wells. Now, Black Warrior Basin is one of the highest producing regions in the world in the US. We have 16 core wells drilled, 156 production wells currently drilled, and we had data of 114 bore wells. This was done by the government back for mining purposes, which was available from Coal India/CMB. Next slide. Our highlights: commercial productions in 2007, 156 wells have been drilled. Internal pipeline alone is about 128 kilometers. This is to connect all the wells to the gathering station. We have 2 gathering stations, and then connecting to the pipeline that takes our gas to the customer, which is another 127, which is divided into 77 odd kilometers of the main pipeline of 12 inch, and then small spur lines connecting various customers. Our gross production achieved was nearly 0.45, nearly 500,000 MMSCMD, and we plan to drill another 144 wells to take our total drilled wells to 300. Next. CBM, even though might sound easy, is a lot of work, but the good part is there is nothing known as a dry well in CBM. As long as you drill where the coal is, gas is produced, or water is produced, which helps in gas production. But the various steps, land acquisition and the spelling mistake, sorry, and right of use, land for well sites and the gas gathering station, you need. They are not big plots of land, between 1 to 2 acres. You need the ROU for pipelines, the well completion, the well site construction you have to do. You have to do the well drilling. After drilling, there is logging, casing, cementing. Then again, actually, there is a logging of cement on log. Then perforation and well fracture. All this can be done in about drilling takes 10 to 15 days, and the balancing takes another 10 days. But they can go in parallel. After that, you do clean the well, and install the pump, and start the working. Just to give you an example, here we produce water, and the gas is the byproduct. As opposed to the pump that is installed is for pumping water. Downstream, we lay
You have to lay ABB pipeline, which I just mentioned, which is connecting all our wells to our gathering stations, for which you need local ROUs from the villagers, laying of steel pipelines, you need ROUs from whoever land is, and construction of the gas gathering station, which compresses the gas to a level that it can transport it into your pipeline. CDM gas comes practically at atmospheric pressure. Sometimes within the field you need compressors, two compressors to push it to the gathering station. On the production, as I mentioned, dewatering is the key. What kind of pumps you install, what rate you are dewatering at, what depth you are dewatering at, all needs to be optimized, and which can only be done once you start the operations. Every well behaves a little differently. You have the gas and water measurement systems at each well, which are connected to a SCADA, to a central control system room. Field optimization, again, dewatering optimization, and ongoing efficiency capex, which you need to keep doing, which is in maybe replacement of some pipelines internal to reduce back pressure on wells, could be changing the pumps, could be acid jobs for cleaning the perforations out, etc. Next. This is a diagram of our gas gathering station. Initially, we had a two-level system back in 2009. At that time, there was not one compressor available. So one would put the pressure up to 55 psi and then make it 220. In about 2011-12, we had expanded the capacity where we put the AG equipment, which is those red compressors at the bottom, which take it straight from 2 to 4 psi to 220. That then, after dehydrating it, goes to the steel pipeline and is ready for sale. Next. This is one of the CPM well sites, which is actually part of our gathering station. This is, I think, well number 12. The equipment you see here is the separator. Each well site has a gas and water separator on site. And then there is another separator, two separators at the gathering station. Next. This is the wellhead pump. PCM is a French company which makes these progressive cavity pumps, which we use very widely. Next. This is the main heart of the operation. This is the gathering station, which I was talking about. The sheds, which you see house the compressors, the tall cylinders are the dehydration units. Here is the pipeline that connects to the steel pipeline of 77 kilometers, which takes the gas to the customers. And right at the back, you see a tall structure that is a flare stack, which by law you have to keep and continue a little bit of gas in that flaring every day to make sure it's operational. This is a control room on the side of the building. Next slide. This is the inside of the control room. All the operations of the wells, compressors, etc., are controlled, can be monitored and controlled from this room, including our customer SCADA. So all information comes here, can be monitored. If there's any issue, our workover rigs are on site, and they can attend to the wells, and the compressors are right there. So people, it's stationed. So this has I think about 20 to 30 people man this facility. Next. This was a central gathering station which we used to use when we used to supply more for CNG through cascades, and also some customers which were offline, small customers. As you know, this was Asansol Durgapur region had many small factories which might consume maybe 500 to 1,000 standard cubic meter a day also. Bakeries, factories, etc. So that those are being supplied by this cascades, which are not on the pipeline. Next. Drilling and completion. The rig you see belongs to us. We have two of those. These are the very mobile RD20 Atlas Copco rigs, very widely used worldwide in CPM. We have two of those. So all our drilling is done in-house. On the right side is the factory equipment of Halliburton. They did a last frac program. I think they did close to 2,000 or 3,000 fracks for us. Next. This is the pipeline network, just a schematic of where, how it goes. From our block is a green pipeline, the 12-inch, which goes to the city of Asansol, Ulti, and then all the way to Durgapur. The yellow pipelines you see are the spur pipelines, which connect directly to the customer premises, where we have our metering skid installed. which is connected back to the control center to monitor it. Next. CSR is a big part of our program. We have been doing CSR since the beginning of our project, not when it became sort of, ESG became the word of the day, or when the government had put in the 2% compulsory spend on CSR. We were doing CSR even before that, mainly in three areas, to women training, to education and health. Next slide. As you can see here, this was skill development of rural women, young students, being given books, food, medical, which is probably the largest section of our CSR, is both on camps and both on mobile medical units, which move from village to village, providing free medical to all the villages there. Next. This has already been said, but I think this CPM round has far better conditions than the existing ones. We share the revenue from the government from day one. So in the new blocks, we will not have to share any revenue apart from the 10%, which is the royalty to the state. It is single for conventional and conventional, which was not the case for us until 2018. Full marketing and pricing freedom, which is key. Exploration you can do in the entire period. There is no overlap, which I think government has ensured this time, because there have been issues in the past for this. 100% investment is allowed from foreigners or a joint venture. It can be in the form of a company joint venture or a farm. I think CPM has been three companies actually in the private sector have been successful in doing this. I think the government has taken a lot of initiatives, especially in the new round, to see how the processes can be streamlined from when the contract is signed to when the first activity can start. So the contract is signed and a PL has to be issued, environment clearance has to be done. I think those are being streamlined, and we have been in this field for over 20 years, and from what we dealt with in 2001 and 2002 to what we deal in 2022 is completely different. So this seems very easy for us. What was there 20 years ago, actually it is getting easier and easier. So I would invite all of you to look at this round seriously. It is very prospective. India needs oil and gas, especially with the situation going on right now of Russia and Ukraine, with 12 million barrels at risk and about 17% of the world's gas at risk. There is a huge need to increase domestic oil and gas. India will always import. 85% of our oil is imported still, 50% of our gas is imported. Thank you.
So we can have the interaction like a later. Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, I now request Mr. Sudhir Mishra from IGX to brief the audience on the domestic gas test on PNGRB exchange and give an insight of the changing dynamics of the energy market. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, senior officials from MOPNG, DGH, Government of Odisha, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's spend the next few minutes to understand this important topic, that how domestic gas can be sold on PNGRB authorized gas exchanges. Next please. So these are the important agenda items which I will be covering in my subsequent slides. Next. Next please. So MOPNG last year in the month of August allowed sale of domestic gas, which has marketing and pricing freedom, to be traded on gas exchange, authorized gas exchanges by the PNGRB. And later in the month of November, it also allowed sale of test gas, EWT gas, and ad hoc gas. So there is a limit. That limit is higher of the 500 million standard cubic meters or 10% of the annual production from contract area per year, whichever is higher, can be traded on the gas exchange as an additional option, which is in addition to the panel key action platforms authorized by DGH. Now there are certain conditions. I will not go through all of them, but some of the important ones are that contractor has to intimate to the DGH at the end of every financial year the details of the gas which has been sold to the gas exchange, certifying that it has fulfilled all the required conditions, and all other terms and conditions will remain same as per existing policies of the government. Next, please. So when a domestic seller or producer sells or participates on the platform, these are some of the advantages which can be taken, which are possible when the gas is traded by the producers on the gas exchange. Point number one: maximization of domestic gas production. As you would know that the domestic production profile is such that it is subject to fluctuations. The profile sometimes is not uniform. So what exchange does, it provides sort of flexible contracts, which I will be covering in my subsequent slides. That you have options like weekly contracts, fortnightly contracts, monthly contracts. So planning can be done very closer to the sales timelines, and therefore there are immediate sales opportunities which are possible at the gas exchange. And IGX is a regulated gas exchange. It is India's first authorized gas exchange, and it is operating under the framework of PNGRB under the Gas Exchange Regulations 2020. What it does is that it also avoids the long lead timelines which are required for bid submissions, for providing responses to the queries during the RFP tendering stage, and a lot of time is saved in the GSA's negotiations. So you know that many months or many weeks are spent when the negotiations of the provisions takes place. All that is provided because exchange provides standardized market rules and bylaws, and these market rules and bylaws are already approved by the PNGRB. So you have standard contracts, and all the contract specifications are mentioned in those market rules. Now, there's increased liquidity and wide gas market participation available. As you know that it's an automated platform. So, for a single platform, sellers can reach to a wide base of buyers. And it also allows quantity as small as 50 MMBtu. So, even if the quantity is small, so sellers can access the smallest of the smallest buyer. One important point is that it provides advance payments to the sellers on rolling basis. So what it does, like in a traditional concept, payments the cycle is on fortnightly basis, where after 50 days invoices are raised, and then there are 4 to 5 days of time given for making payments. In the gas exchange, you have this principle of payout to sellers, where let's say D is the day of gas delivery. So payment is released to the seller on D plus 2 basis, and that keeps happening on rolling basis. So there's a lot of advantages associated with the cash flow management of the sellers. Then, because all the trades are happening based on the local demand and supply conditions, so these leads to the indigenous price discovery. And of course, when multiple sellers and buyers are participating, the price discovery is also robust. And this one of the key objectives of setting up the gas exchange was that trading happens based on the market-based signals. So when market-based mechanisms like platform and standard contracts are available, it obviously gives comfort to all kinds of investors, whether they are foreign investors or domestic investors. So the signals, it generates market signals, there's a transparency involved, everything can be seen on real-time basis, and all these prices are published on the website on day-to-day basis. And of course, because of the flexibility of contracts and immediate sales opportunities, there's no need to shut down the wells, and if those quantities or the profile related things have not been captured in the long-term planning, so then as soon as you have the productions increasing, you can immediately utilize those quantities and sell it on the exchange. Next, please. Okay, so now coming specific to the market model and to start with milestones. So I just started as a gas trading platform. It was launched by the then Honorable Petroleum Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhan in the month of June 2020. When it was launched, at that time there were no regulations. So PNGRB came out with the gas exchange regulations in September 2020, and then IGX applied under those regulations and registered, and it became first authorized gas exchange in the month of December 2020. So now 50 months have passed since the commencement of operations as authorized gas exchange. And you see, most of the ATMs are already the strategic partners or the members of the exchange. So ONGC, GAIL, IOC, Adani, Total Gas, and Torrent Gas all have taken 5% equity stake in IGX, and NSE, National Stock Exchange, the leading stock exchange in the country, has also taken 26% equity stake in IGX. Sale of domestic gas with marketing pricing freedom, this we have discussed in the first slide. And the exchange has been witnessing steady growth in the volumes. Next, please. So this is how the market model of the exchange looks like. The exchange works on the basis of hubs. Hub is a point where the seller is obligated to deliver the gas at that point, and from there on, a buyer has to take the gas from the hub till its consumption center. So currently we are having 5 hubs. 2 are in Gujarat, Dahej, Hasira, 2 are in Maharashtra, Dabur, and KG Basin. And once this enabler for domestic gas has come now, we have also analyzed the hubs, requirement of hubs and delivery points to facilitate the trading of domestic gas in the country. And we have filed the application with the PHRB, and which I will be showing you in the subsequent slides, that in the first phase of which hubs and delivery points we have filed. Then we have, then these are the 6 kinds of contracts available: day ahead, daily, weekly, weekday, fortnightly, and monthly. So maximum duration of contract available currently is monthly, but important point to note is that we can trade in 3 monthly contracts, which are separate independent contracts, but 3 monthly contracts can be traded at a single point of time. So if they are in the month of March, we can trade for the month of April, May, and June. So sellers can lock in their volumes up to 3 months, which is effective for quarter. Then there is a price discovery mechanism. There are 2 kind of mechanisms which we are following. For very short duration contracts like day and daily, we have this continuous matching principle, where when the sell bids and the buy bids come, as happens in a normal equity market, as soon as the price matches, the bids are treated as confirmed and then they are cleared. Whereas for the slightly longer duration contracts like weekly, fortnightly, monthly, we have open option mechanism where there is a standard trading hours. Say 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the daily trading hours. So bid submission takes place during those trading hours. So sellers submit their bids, buyers submit their bids, and after this closure of these trading hours, then they're based on the pricing methodology, which is very well captured and detailed in the market rules. The price discovery, uniform price discovery takes place, and then that specific price is applicable under the contract, a particular contract under a particular contract. So uniform price is discovered. So X-Hub and delivery delivered, these are the 2 kind of transactions we deal with. X-Hub is the one which I was saying that when the seller is delivering at the hub, from there on, when the buyer is making the arrangement itself to transport the gas from the hub till its consumption center, that we call it as X-Hub. Whereas delivered means there are many small buyers who do not have their own transportation arrangements with the transporter. So what exchange does, that exchange facilitates the booking of transportation capacity on behalf of those buyers. So it has framework agreements with transporters like GAIL, PIL. So exchange has entered into the framework agreements with those transporters, and it facilitates the booking of capacity in the pipeline of those transporters on behalf of those small buyers. So that is delivered transaction. And all the contracts at the exchange are traded in terms of rupee, and our lot size, we call it a lot size, that it is 50 mm per day. So that is traded in multiples of 50 mm. Next please. So this is how, this is a comparison of the traditional arrangement with the exchange model. So on the left side of the screen, you can see that there is a seller and a buyer, and for the commodity part, that is for the gas molecule, GSA, gas sale agreement is negotiated, provisions are finalized between the seller and the buyer. And for booking the capacity, there is a GDA. Whereas in the case of the exchange model, there is a concept of hub. So seller delivers the gas on that hub, and then there are standard market rules and bylaws applicable. So all the standard contracts are available. So no need, once a party becomes a member of the exchange, then there is no need to do those negotiations every time for each transaction. So standard rules are applicable for those transactions, and therefore this day-to-day transactions can be done easily. Next please. This is how a typical trade flow cycle looks like, which I was saying that during the trading hours, the bid submission takes place. Once those trading hours close, then there's matching of those buy bids and sell bids, and there's a market clearing price discovered and market clearing volumes are discovered. Then the trade is tested for the availability of the pipeline, whether the capacity is available or not. Once the confirmation is received from the transporter, then the trades are sent for the normal operations like nomination scheduling. And that information is also transmitted to participants, to thousands of. We have something called IG's price index. So, which that price index is disseminated to now 2,000 plus participants in the industry on daily basis. Next, please. So these 6 products we have discussed, they get daily, weekly, weekdays, fortnightly, and monthly. Then there's a trading hour applicable from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. As the name suggests, day and daily are for one gas day delivery. Monthly is for the entire calendar month. Fortnightly would be for 1st to 15th and 16th to end of the calendar month. Then for every contract, there's a timeline defined that under for which how much duration those contracts are available for trading. So, for example, for monthly contract, you have timeline typically available. So you can now, because March has already started, so you cannot trade for March contract. But for April, till 3 working days before the closure of March, April contract would be available for trading. So what exchanges to facilitate this? It publishes the trading calendar on its website. So all the dates are mentioned that for how long the weekly contract will be available, for how long this monthly contract will be available for trading. So all those dates, along with dates and all the segment-wise timelines and the trading hours are mentioned in the trading calendar, which is present on the website. Next, please. So this is how the volumes have grown. We have crossed around now more than 90 lakh MMBTU, 95 lakh MMBTUs in terms of traded volume in this financial year. And as you would see that the quantities have almost been tripling from quarter to quarter. And exchange has registered a single highest trade of around 7 lakh MMBTUs. And February month, it witnessed the highest ever traded volume of over 20 lakh MMBTU in a month. Next, please. This is just the distribution of those traded quantities in terms of the delivery months. So, quantity which is being traded, say, in the month of March, can be delivered in the month of March or April or May. So, in terms of those delivered quantities, these are plotted in terms of delivery months. So, these red box prices, what you will see like in the month of March, you will see 1727, February, you will see 1848. This data is only till 15th. So the recent increase in prices may not be reflecting here, which we have been seeing in last 1 week or so. But what it does, that it is showing that these are the delivered volumes month-wise, and these red box prices mentioned are in terms of rupee per MMBTU. So these prices are discovered on the exchange. And just for your reference purpose, to make the things easier, these have been also been mentioned on in terms of the dollar per MMBTU. But these are not discovered in dollars, these are discovered in rupees per MMBTU. Just for reference, we have mentioned in dollars. Next, please. This slide just shows how the deliveries have been going on the exchange platform. So, at the right most, you will see that it has brought down more than 80,000 per MMBTU, which is roughly more than 2 MMSCMD of the volumes. Next, please. And this is how the comparison of the IGX discovered prices vis-a-vis the other important benchmarks looks like. So, red line is the IGX discovered prices month on month. Then this is a comparison with sky blue color line, which is the basically West India market, which is assessed by Platts. The increasing trend only shows the market conditions, that how the prices of gas have been increasing in the last few months. And because this trading is happening based on the local demand and supply conditions, so you will see that red line is slightly lower than this blue line. But you can compare this also with the other two benchmarks. One is long-term LNG, which is the estimated RAS gas price, which is mainly linked to the Brent crude prices. So you know that there has been divergence or the difference between the crude index contracts and the gas index contracts, and that trend is clearly visible on this slide at Henry Hub and the long-term LNG. West India Marker or JKM. Next, please. So these are some of the major entities which we have plotted on the slide. I mean, we have used the logos for the ease of understanding purpose. That most of the major entities are already the members of the exchange now. So we have something called proprietary members. Proprietary member is the one who trade for their own requirements or for their associates and affiliates. And there is also another model called trading clearing members. So these are actually brokers. So they don't trade for their requirements, they trade for their clients, which are mentioned on the right hand side of the screen. And clients are the actual sellers or buyers of the gas. Next, please. This is what I was referring to, that to access the exchange, there are two models possible. One is a proprietary member. So companies like Gaze or Petronet LNG, these are the proprietary members who trade for themselves, whether they could be sellers or buyers. They trade for themselves or for their associates and affiliates. And there's a broker kind of model where the trading clearing members. So smaller entities, because of the financial reasons, they prefer a client model, and their clients are the actual sellers or buyers of the gas. So trading clearing member, in short we call it as TC members, they are not the actual sellers or buyers of gas, they are the brokers who facilitate their clients to participate on the exchange. Next. This is a self-explanatory slide and just summarizes all the points and the advantages that we have discussed. That there is a transparent price discovery which takes place on the exchange because of the it's an open auction kind of platform. All those prices are visible. The market depth is visible to all the participants, sellers, and buyers on the real-time basis on the exchange. Then, because of flexible contracts, multiple options available, there's flexibility for cash sale, and exchange acts as a counterparty for both sellers and buyers. So it shows payment security to the sellers also. And because of the participation from multiple entities, there's a competitive price which is discovered at the exchange. And because of all these reasons, now effectively it's a cost saving to the end buyer also. Next, please. So once this enabler from MPNG was out last year, this is what exchange has done. It has submitted the application to the PNGRB for creation of hub and delivery points to facilitate the trading of gas and also specifically for the domestic gas. So we intend to have this kind of model where it would be hub and delivery point. So the hubs could be in the form of western zonal regions, western, southern, eastern, and then there will be multiple delivery options because the number of hubs were increasing because of the domestic gas. So what we propose that we can have hub concept and a delivery option. So multiple delivery options would be available under a particular hub. Next. So this is just the example of the previous slide that these have been identified as a phase 1 kind of requirements. And needless to say that there will be delivery points added for additional requirements. Next. So this is my final slide where I categorized these all the permutation combinations into 3 boxes. One is that domestic gas which doesn't have ceiling price, so we only need to have additional trading hubs and delivery points for that gas. Gas which has now set its ceiling price, so because of changes required, because of the price settlement mechanism involved due to the ceiling price, we have also proposed that to the PNGRB. And for the blocks which are not connected to the pipeline grid, we can also facilitate the discovery of the gas price or what we call it as external sale. And of course, transportation will be agreed between the seller and buyer based on their one-to-one discussions. That's all from my side.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful session. Before I request our next guest, I would like to remind all our delegates that those who want to have a one-to-one interaction with the DGH team and officials from MOPNG and state government may kindly give their names to Mr. Kumar Prabhakar. Mr. Kumar Prabhakar, please identify yourself. Okay. Moving ahead, I now invite Mr. Partha Chakravarti from M Junction to present the modalities of bidding process through e-bidding process.
afternoon all. So, in next 10-15 minutes, I would like to give you a briefing on how, as a leader, how you are going to interact with the board. What are the things you need to know before you start submitting or uploading the documents and prepare the data in the portal? Very important aspect is a confidential and simple. That means whenever you submit a bit, the bit consists of multiple information. Some information you type in the portal, some information you upload as part of the document, but all are confidential and safe. How it is said, I'll come to that point in the subsequent slides. It's a single stage, two-part bidding. That means whatever you submit, you have to submit in single go. You can resubmit again, but all the information, everything, when you prepare in the portal, you are ready and submit, it's done. So system locks that the information and keeps it in encrypted mode. This URL is publicly available, so you can use this URL to access the portal, as well as all the help videos, manuals, everything are available in the portal. And also, we have our helpdesk team ready to support you. So anytime you need support, you need help, feel free to call us, mail us. We'll be able to assist you. First thing is the registration process. As a bidder, you have to register yourself. The PAN number is the unique identity, which you have to type in the portal during registration. You can choose your login ID, and there are very simple 2-3 steps to which the registration process can be initiated. So once you submit the form, it goes to DGH for approval. Once it's approved, your login ID, user ID is generated and activated. So even before you decide whether to submit the bid or not submit the bid, but I would request you to go log in, create the account, because to create the account, there are certain dependencies on BSc. It's very important that look at the second point, which is very important. Class 3 BSc. Each and every person, whoever logs in into the system, has to have a BSc. BSc, it looks like it's called Digital Security Certificate. It has to be class 3. It looks like a small pen drive, which you need to insert in the USB drive. System identifies that. But this is very important one, because the BSc is the digital identity of a person. So system tracks who has uploaded, who has logged in, who has uploaded the documents, everything to that BSc. So to log in into the system, you need two things. One, user ID password, which you will be activating through the registration process. But the second important part is that BSc has to be inserted in the USB drive of the laptop. Sometimes setting up the BSc gives trouble. So that's why it's very important that you check whether you have a BSc or not. You purchase the BSc, because the purchase process also sometimes takes time. You need to provide a lot of documents here. And then make sure that you can log in. If you cannot log in, please call us. We will help you. There are multiple software patches has to be there. Correct version of the patches has to be there in the laptop. Few important points that only companies can bid, which is also part of the NIA, and you have to specify the network and the bank details in the portal itself. But if there is an update, it has to be done by the DGH. Few important aspect which is already part of the NIO, but still I would like to highlight here that parent subsidiary bidding is allowed. So subsidiary can use the parent's network. If you do not have the network, then there is other provisions also. Parent can register and authorize all the subsidiaries to bid in case the parent and subsidiary all are bidding. So there are multiple steps, multiple condition combinations which are possible in the portal itself, which is also available in the NI. Consortium bidding is also supported. So you need to form the consortium as a bid bidder. You have to fill out certain forms, declaring the partners, participating interest. All those things you have to fill up in the portal. And system automatically verifies the network required with respect to the participating interest. So those checks and validations are already in. All the blocks are in offer will be available in the portal, so you can choose which one to against which one you would like to submit the bid. That's part of the portal. You have to mention the priorities. So if you submit bid against multiple blocks, in that case you have to mention all the priorities, and every priority has to be unique. But once you submit the bid, as I said, you can revise the bid any number of times. There is no limitation. So, but whichever you submit last will be considered as a valid bid. Before I move to the other aspect of the bidding portal, I would like to highlight the important points of the DSC and encryption and security mechanism of the portal. So this is very important aspect, and this is a common question asked by every leader. So what is the confidentiality? How would I know that the data kept in the or uploaded in the portal is secure? This portal is being used for VLP rounds. All the VLP rounds has happened in this portal. DSF round has happened. CDM round is happening. Now, very important aspect is this portal has been verified and certified by SCQC. SCQC is an independent body who tests, verify, and certify that it's fit for this particular job. The DSC, why I mentioned the DSC and emphasize the DSC a lot, because what happens when you use the DSC, you need to know this for your confidence. Every time you upload a document or write something and submit a bid, the DSC has the keys, the respective keys. Using that keys, the system encrypts the data, encrypts the file you upload to the portal, and sends the encrypted file to the server. So the server is in our custody, so in injunction, we are just the custodian of the data. I repeat, we are just the custodian of the data. We do not have any capability to see the data, what is there inside, because it's uploaded by you, it is encrypted by you, your DSC, it can be decrypted only by DGH. Nobody else in our can decrypt the data. So that is verified, certified, tested by SCQC, autonomous body, independent unit under Department of Electronics. Now, few just glimpse of the portal. So once the registration process is over, system will ask you, you can form the consortium, which is optional, and there are certain fulfillment of other criteria. There will be forms which you need to fill up, and once you submit, system accepts the bid and sends you a confirmation. Now, few glimpse of the portal just for your reference. So you have to register yourself and use your login ID password. So when you log in, system will ask you to choose the DSC. System actually automatically detects what are the DSCs already installed in your laptop or computer. Mobile phone cannot be used, has to be a laptop or desktop. So DSC system asks you to select the respective DSC. And once system identifies the respective DSC, it gives you the list of DSCs you have already registered, whether it's active, inactive, because sometimes it happens that the DSC you have just registered, it's going to expire in 2 months or 3 months time. So you have to, after 3 months, you have to register a new DSC. So both the DSCs will work, but new transaction cannot happen using the expired DSC. But expired DSC can still be used to retrieve your data. So system gives you the all the information on the DSC, so that you will register the new DSCs.
When you log in to the dashboard, system shows you the number of tenders published, how many tenders you have participated in, and those information are displayed. And also, when you respond, you can prepare multiple bids. So, system shows you which one is the draft mode, which one is in the submitted mode. These information are shown, and whichever you submit, you can submit multiple bids, but the last bid will be accepted. And actually, every time you submit a bid, the older bid will be overrated. So these are the links where to which you can open the bids of the respective tender. This is tender fee and bid bond information, where you can select the NIO number against which you are planning to pay the fees. Those are standard information, payment information, where you can also download and verify the payment information. Similarly, when you upload the bank guarantees, this is a page where you have to select the bank guarantee information. You have to type certain bank guarantee instruments, bank, amount, and also very importantly, when you upload the file, that is the bank guarantee, scan copy of the bank guarantee document, when you upload in the system again sign that file. Actually, not only bank guarantee, any document you upload in the system does two things: encryption, which I have already mentioned. Second is signing. So system signs that document digitally using your ESC, which is already inserted in the USB drive of the computer. So in the bank guarantee also, same thing happens. So it's legally accepted document, and so you are the person who has uploaded the document. And these are the screen for the consortium, so where you can add members and you can type in the participating interest. That's it. So once you cover, you submit the bid, system will show you the receipt, the confirmation window, which will appear. You can take a printout of it and keep it with yourself. Thank you very much. I would request you to log in. Please log in. Make sure the computer is ready, set up. Do not wait for the last. Thank you very much. Wish you a happy day.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening the operators and potential investors about the e-bidding portal. Now, I invite Dr. Rajiv Dhar from SR Oil and Gas to brief the audience about the CBM activities and the success story of the Rani East Club.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all the dignitaries and delegates from DGH, OPMG, industry, colleagues, and friends. So, I will not take much time, just a couple of slides. As we are saying multiple times, that India is the fifth reserve in terms of coal. But if we talk in terms of CBM, probably we are a bit behind in comparison to Australia, US, this type of leading coal reserve countries. And when we talk about unconventional hydrocarbons, so coal comes in a major portion of it, and of course shale is also the further potential of that. And again, the coal deposit, if we talk about, then eastern India, particularly the states Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, have the most of the coal resource of India here. So, CBM journey started long back in 90s in India itself. So the first few CBM wells were drilled by SR as an R&D project in Mehsana block, Gujarat. Wells were drilled, fractured, and put on production, and we paired gas and established the CBM footprint in India at that time. of course, with the others leaders in the industry. And those activity was followed by the policy in 1997 from government of India, and again in ISAR puts its footprint with achieving the milestone of 1 GDCMD gas production in India. So we have strong learning curve with us, and of course, learning curve talks about failures. Until unless you have failed, you will not success. You come to know, and we are with that learning curve. Till now, we have invested around $1 billion in CDM and unconventional part. At present, we have long-term ESPA with GAIL, and gas offtake is not a problem for us, and the market is open for us. And we have robust growth plans to multiply our production with this connection of the GAIL pipeline. So this is just a snapshot. Block was awarded on 26 July 2002, and presently we have certified reserve of around 0.7 TCF. In addition to that, the upside potential of field is there, but still that is to be explored, and we have some analogy and some primitive data for that. Currently, we are in production phase since 2016, and as of date, around 350 wells are drilled, 5 DGH gas stations capable of handling of 2.1 ASCM of gas, and 1 main compression station capable of 3 MSCM of gas at higher pressure around 60 bar is installed, and we are ready for that. More than 300 kilometer pipeline we have laid into pipeline, and currently we are producing around 0.8 MSCMD. We have to actually reduce down our production because of some market constraint and the delay in the GAIL pipeline and all this thing. But we are now with the connection, we are ramping up, and of course all these things we are doing keeping HSC in mind, and HSC becomes the top priority here also in our operation. And for that we are now actually ISO 14001 2015 and 45001 2018 certified company. So now little bit on the Raniganj development, the benefits. Basically, as it is CDM, so we are giving the, of course, the green energy in a way that is reducing the carbon footprints, and the block is actually surrounded by the industries, in small industries and large industries in Durgapur, Asansol. In addition to that, nearby some fertilizer farms are also there, whereas the actual demand is around 24 MMSCMD. So earlier the connection was not proper, the gas grid. Now it is there almost, and coming years it will be further better. So we are keeping that in mind. We are trying to contribute as much as possible in the demand, fulfilling the demand. In addition to that, we are supplying the CNG locally through GAIL and IOCL, and of course we have the GSPA with the GAIL pipeline for the gas grid. Regarding our Raniganj project way forward, as I said already that we have 50 wells already drilled, and presently we are producing around 0.8 MMSCMD. We are continuing our ramp up activity from the existing wells. In addition to that, we are actually carrying out some production enhancement activities like acidization, refractoring, etc. Because some of the wells actually not responded after the prolonged shutdown. So we are working on that, and we are getting good result on that. In addition to that, for production enhancement, we are trying the new technologies like radial drilling, which is being hole within the coal seam itself, and we are in the process of microbial flooding, which is in the R&D project. Earlier, VNDC also tried in their block in Jharia with Teddy, so we are also working in that same line with more research and etc. And we believe we can do it by another 6 months or year time within that. In addition to that, we have a plan of drilling further development wells and hydrofracturing for the future development wells. For that in line, we are again doing some old wells for the extension of the fairway, and we are getting good result is there. In addition to that, actually in Raniganj there is some deeper coal seams, depth of occurrence is higher, which is all over the globe. Deeper CBM from the deeper coal seams is a challenge. So we are in contact with the global industry partners and experts on that. And this CBM journey, we believe that will be followed by the exploration of the shale gas. Now about the benefits. So wherever the industry comes, it comes with the two benefits mostly, that is economic as well as social. So in case of economic benefits, it comes with the generation of employment in the area. Till now, around more than 1,000 direct and indirect employment has been generated by SR. And investment in Durgapur will have with the ancillary industries and etc. around 15,000 crores. And till now, we have paid the royalty to the state government